Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationship podcast. I'm your host, Giovanna Bridges White, with my co-host,
Yvette Baldenegro, and our lovely train in the background that I think is leaving because it just got louder.
Yay! Well, thanks for joining us for another week. Today we're talking about rebalancing the relationship with your business. And what the heck does that mean? And for those of you guys who are watching us for the first time, welcome. And if you're listening to us on the replay, thank you for listening. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that you like, you share, and most importantly, that you message us if there's any topics you want us to talk about, any guests you want us to have on, because we are all about talking about every type of relationship that you want help in or want to hear about. So let's talk about what rebalancing the relationship in your business means, because it sounds amazing, but what does that mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And let's just say that this is one podcast that we very much are coming from the been there, done that. Oh my gosh, we really want to help you because this is so needed and so easy it's very easy to get unbalanced as an entrepreneur trying to do it all, for sure.
So if you're an entrepreneur listening, this episode is really for you. And also if you are maybe in a full-time job, working a side hustle, thinking about starting a side hustle, this is going to be a great podcast for you. Because just like Yvette says, we've been there, done that, and we really do know that there is a fine balance, a work-life balance. I know everyone's like, oh, that must be so nice to have a work-life balance. But at the end of the day, it is available, it is true, and it's up to you to do that. And we've had the opportunity to work with an amazing group of 20 entrepreneurs here in Houston. And through the last really 4 months, we've learned that there really isn't a space or a place or people to teach entrepreneurs or teach women that are looking to do a side hustle or start a small business on kind of like the do's and the don'ts, and not getting sucked into overworking, to really, again, not having that balance in your life and really making everything about your business. So that's why we really want to have this really short and sweet podcast, is just to kind of do tips and tricks and understanding what that does that really mean, and how you really can create that work-life balance and have a healthy relationship with your business.
Yeah, and I think, I did say entrepreneurs, but I think it's really anybody. You can be seriously a mom at home with your kids and feel the same way. You can be a CEO of some Fortune 500 company and feel the same way. So if anybody is feeling, because this, I know, been there, done that, stress, fatigue, burnout. And the saddest thing that comes up is that the very reason you do what you do is because you start off as an entrepreneur or whatever you're doing because you love it. But then the very thing that you love sucks the life out of you because you're spending so many hours doing it. And anyone who starts a business, you feel the responsibility. We understand that. You feel such a responsibility and a pull to do the right thing, to be there in the moment, to put in all the hours, to do all the things because you know you want to be successful. But success does not just mean you're working 60 hours a week and just feeling like circles are going around your head because you're just going left, right, and all over the map. That's not success. Success is everything. Part of what we're going to say today. It is so important.
Yep.
So let's just get going.
Yeah, I want to like go back to kind of like what we talk about, and all relationships, and this is relationship with yourself, with your spouse, with your business. I think society has kind of put this, you should be doing, and as entrepreneurs, that has always been like, well, you got to work hard to play hard. You got to put in the hours. It's like at the beginning, you got to do it all so that you can, live the life that you want to live. And I think that we're programmed that way. So we go into it already thinking, well, that's what we have to do. That's how entrepreneurs make it. That's how successful people make it, is by, overworking. I remember, I love my saying that like hustle never sleeps, and that can really hurt us. And when we start off a business, or maybe it's a new job, maybe you're in corporate, it doesn't matter, whatever business that you're in, when you start with that mentality, with that mindset, you're already kind of setting yourself up for failure. So that's why we kind of wanted to bring this to the attention of entrepreneurs and business owners now, that you do have to time block it. You do have to schedule it, and you do have to have calendar integrity and stick with that, because there is a life. So you could be single, you can be married, you can be a stay-at-home mom, you can have kids. You have to look at the whole picture of your life and what do you want that to be, and then schedule in the blocks of your full-time job, your side hustle, your mental health and wellness, if that's working out, if that's, going to yoga classes, whatever that looks like for you, scheduling your free time. All of that needs to be done. And I think as entrepreneurs, we forget about that. And you can definitely chime in on that. We just go, hey, like we just got to work our business and we work it when we work it. It happens when there's pockets in between. And then all of a sudden, a year goes down the road and you're like, that's all I've been doing. I've been working and I haven't seen any progress. I haven't seen, any numbers. And it's again, this burnout. We go from, oh my God, I'm so excited to, 6 months, a year down the road. Like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. And let me just say this. I think too, not only do we put pressure on ourselves, but I know our family, friends, people around us put some pressure too, because an entrepreneur or whatever you want to do is completely your own business, but literally your own business, the hours that you put in and where it's going. You're responsible for the outcome, right? But we have just the constant in our, well, what do you do? What are you doing all day? Are you just at home? Da, da, da. What? So then it makes you feel even that extra pressure to go above and beyond because you do want to be successful and almost prove it to the world. I can do this. I can spend all these hours. I can be sitting here literally at my desk all day long, not getting up, not seeing the sunshine, not seeing the world. Sure, there are moments. I think that this is the reality. There are moments and seasons for someone who has a product that they're selling. Christmas may be the time where, or for an accountant, they know tax time. You just know there's a season that I'm really going to have to give to, but obviously we're not saying that, but over a whole year's worth of time, if you're really just at the end of it going, it's never ending. Well, guess what? It isn't, it will never end. You could literally never sleep, do your job, your career, your business, whatever, every single hour of every single day. It doesn't end, but you get the choice to dictate the hours. When am I working on certain things so that it does kind of feel like it ends? Of course, the responsibility is always there. You're always going to get a phone call. There's always emails. Someone's always going to text you for information. Of course, that's what you're in business for. Absolutely. But what we're going to talk about, really, the work-life balance, time blocking, calendar integrity, and just being scheduled is so important.
Yeah. And I also like setting up those boundaries because you may be listening to us or watching us right now and you're like, okay, well, I've been in it. Like this is my life. How can I go back and start that? You can. It doesn't matter what stage you are. And honestly, if you're an established entrepreneur and or a small business owner and you already know those seasons, when you're going to be busy, like peak and non-peak, this is fantastic. It's now really taking a small portion of your time to pause and say, okay, let me look at my monthly, let me look at my quarterly, and let me look at my yearly calendar. Most of us know now that we're traveling again, when we're going to go on vacations, if we have families, and when we know all those things. So start with that first. Start with really like the fun stuff. Like, when am I going to take time off? Then like break it down to when are my seasons in the business. And if you're a new entrepreneur, you're going to figure that out as you go. But it's setting up the time to do that and establishing kind of like your work-life balance boundaries. And from that, you're time blocking, and then you're actually giving yourself the time for you, for your job, for your business, for your family, whatever your priorities are. And it's written on paper, and you can go the extra mile like I do and put it in your calendar. Not only is that a sense of relief, because you said it perfectly. We put that stress on ourselves, and then we have the stress of friends and family, like what's going on, like how's the business going. When you can see not only the big picture, and you can see your daily and your weekly, there's something as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, that you're like, okay, it's going to get done. And what doesn't get done, there should have like a little buffer period or time blocking of a buffer time of like, things happen. The kids get sick. You don't feel good. As an entrepreneur, it's hard. Have the extra time in your schedule, because that's where, as an entrepreneur and as a small business owner, you have the flexibility to do that, but you got to do it. And then you have to really, for at least 30 days, 60 days, do the work and stick to the plan. And that's where calendar integrity comes in. So that to me is kind of like that starting point, because you can't have boundaries with your clients. You can't start to set up the next sequence of your business if you don't even know what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm going to just give some definitions to what you
Yes.
just said, and I'm just making these up. I'm just like, this is Yvette's world of definitions of what this means. Time blocking is really just saying, here's my calendar. I'm going to take this chunk of time, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. This is what I am doing at this moment.
Yes.
Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You can color code it. You can get on Google. You can have the paper kind of, planner that I have. It does whatever works for you, but you're blocking out a certain amount of time. Then calendar integrity, because I know that we say that a lot, but it may just be gibberish to a lot of people out there. That is literally saying, in my time block, this is what I've scheduled to do, and I'm going to have the integrity to do it, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what comes up. And you said, yes, there are, because we love to make excuses. There are emergencies that come up. A kid gets sick, water comes through the ceiling, whatever it is, things really do happen that you have to go, dang it, I can't do it right now. I've got to go do this. But 95% of the time, those things don't happen. And the only reason we wind up not having the integrity to do what is in that time block is because we give some kind of excuse as to our minds think about something else. All of a sudden we put another priority. Oh, I don't feel like doing that. Or there's something else that I'd rather be doing. And I just thought of these two things because I was like, what are things that we in our society just don't change the time on, right? Two things I could think of really quickly. Number one, if you have a doctor appointment, what doctor, dentist, haircut, whatever it is, boy, we will fly through traffic. We will make sure we're on time. There's just some things that we go, no, this is the time. I'm going to go get my haircut. I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm going to, whatever it is. You don't let things come in and change that, right? The other thing I think for any parent, your kids get out at 3:00. You have to be in that dumb line, or else you get the phone call, you get a fine, whatever it is. The kids are screaming, Mom, I was standing there. No, you didn't come. That is like the other thing. It's like the world stops when you as a parent know that you have to go get your child. I know that is extreme, but calendar integrity is kind of like that. That is what's going to happen unless something major happens. And here's the important thing, because over time, if you're saying, I want to get these things done, it's like, I'm getting that done, little chunk. I got that done, little chunk. I got that done, little chunk. Then over time, it's a big chunk that you got all of that done. And so now those little chunks are no longer overwhelming for the big, huge project you knew that you had to do.
Yeah. I love that. That was a perfect example. And I love that we have calendar integrity for all of those things, but we don't have calendar integrity for our work-life balance, for our business. And then when things don't get done, we always blame it on time. Oh, we didn't have time. So, I mean, that's kind of like in a nutshell, but I think that's really the beginning stages of then creating the work-life balance with service-based. If you're service-based, product-based, the emails, the phone calls, the DMs, and starting to establish those boundaries. And we both know, coming from, the wedding industry for the past, 20 years combined, again, it's that mentality of like, well, if we don't pick up the phone or we don't respond right away, we're going to lose that client. And what we've learned and this is like kind of like, if you can get anything out of this podcast, listening or watching, is that you are actually setting up a false expectation to your client by not establishing those boundaries. I am not saying don't pick up the phone, but sometimes when you're maybe in the middle of doing a podcast, or that like Wednesdays we podcast, I'm not picking up phone calls unless it's an emergency. I'm not doing those things. You can have a template that says, oh, we would love to get with you right now. And unfortunately, we're not available. We're assisting other clients. We will get with you within 24 hours, and let it be. Same thing with your email. You need to establish those boundaries. Those clients will respect you more in the long run when they become your clients, because they already know that you run your business a certain way versus picking up the calls, doing the text messages, messaging people at 11 o'clock at night. Yvette and I can tell you how that's come back, because now that client expects you to always be there and always be, but that's how we started our relationship. Some of the best business owners, best entrepreneurs will tell you there's a time. It's off. This is my schedule. And it goes back to, this is the schedule. If you want to have 9 to 5 and that works for you, great. If you want to have one day where you have an evening, open hour office, great. You have to do what's best for you and not be afraid to establish those boundaries with your clients. They will respect you more for it. And guess what? If they don't book you, or that wasn't your client to begin with. So I think that's another small little nugget that society puts in our head. Certain industries are different. Again, seasons will be different. The holidays, the mall's the perfect example. The mall stays open later, great. You know that in your business, you establish that, but make sure you don't feel pressure that if you don't pick up the phone, or if you don't send that message, or if you're not, if you're on your phone at midnight, no, you don't want to start that. And if you already have, pause, regroup, and reestablish. Those people, those clients will respect you more. And now you're going to start attracting the right people to come work with you, work for you, or, the product or service that you're giving to that future client they're going to respect you more. So that's the main two things we wanted to get out of this. Ooh, so passionate about that. You think they got it?
I think we all got it. We're both very passionate, and because we've done it wrong. I mean, I even when we were talking, I was thinking, God, when my kids were little, they will tell you that I used to be on the phone counseling someone, and Mom, I would be like, it was almost like the mad mom. Don't bother me on the phone. Oh my God, what kind of mom? Horrible. They're really, and they truly are my priority, but I wasn't showing that to them because I was giving the other person the priority when I should have just said, I am so sorry, I'm going to need to call you back.
Yes, establishing those boundaries.
Yeah.
So the whole reason why we have now rebalancing the relationship with your business, I'm so thankful for the amazing entrepreneurs that I've been helping for the last 4 months. If you are in Houston, just send us a message. We do a workshop every single month. We're starting in June with our calendar integrity, time blocking, and time management series. And we really want to help entrepreneurs and small business owners like you reestablish that balance in your work life so that you can create the life that you want and that you deserve. So for more information, just reach out to us, and thank you for watching. We're on live every single Wednesday, and then we have brand new podcasts every single Friday. So we'd love to hear from you, and thank you so much. We'll see you next week.